Everyone thought that e-publishing was the answer to the question, where is the printed book going to end up? But in many cases, a printed book is still the preferred product, especially in developing countries. But unless you can find a way to make the current process of publishing print books a little bit more efficient, it will remain expensive. Seth found a local publishing startup with an innovative solution.
So you have a few goals in life. Summit Everest, run with the bulls, learn to play the mandolin, and have your novel published. All fairly realistic, except for that last one. Even if you have the talent, the likelihood of having your rare talent plucked from the sea of mediocrity swamping the desks of submissions editors in the average publishing house is lower than a Pompey sloth's chance of survival in an eruption. It's nigh on impossible to have a book published in South Africa, and the same is true all over the world. 50 Shades of Grey? Rejected, my friend, and self-published. So that's obviously the solution, right? Wrong. Sure, anyone can self-publish an e-book online, but in this country, people tend to prefer hard copies for reading. Besides, there's a certain level of esteem granted to the author of a printed book. Aha, you say. But writers can have their books physically printed on demand in small volumes. Sure, but they'll have to sell those books themselves one by one because mainstream retailers like Kalahari.com and Exclusive Books only deal with mainstream publishing houses, which, you know, we've already established you won't be getting into anytime soon. So short of buying your own bookstore or publishing house, you're going to have to settle for scaling Everest and forget the novel, friend. What's that? That's the sound of horses' hooves thundering in on the horizon. That's the sound of white night. That's the sound of MegaBooks. MegaBooks. Catch up. Life's not slowing down. What exactly is a MegaBooks? Nice of you to ask. Let's find out from someone who actually knows.
The difficulty for small publishers is that they're having to make big financial risks relative to the cash they have available. A small publisher is someone who doesn't have a lot of money to burn. And one of the things that can really eat up your money fast is printing a big print run before you sell it. One of the ways to tackle this problem is actually come from developments in the printing industry. Well, these days a lot of small publishers are focusing on digital as the way to solve their problems, ebooks. There's actually been a hell of a lot of attention paid to making it possible to print books in very small quantities and sell them straight to consumers. And we've seen this really become very established in the developed world, in the US and the UK in particular, where companies like Lightning Source and CreateSpace will enable you to place a book file with a printer and then wait for customers to order it. And when the customer orders the book from Amazon or Kalahari or wherever else, only then does the book get printed and sent straight to the customer from the printer. And that's a huge, groundbreaking change for small publishers. Yeah, so the secret to making small run publishing, or true print on demand as we call it, work has been to get the cost to print a single copy as low as the cost per copy when you're printing 1,000 books. When you print 1,000 books of a novel, you're paying maybe 10 Rand a book for printing. When you're printing a single copy on a digital short run printer, you might be paying 100 Rand per copy. But luckily, the printing industry, kind of behind the scenes while we're all focused on digital, has managed to reduce its margins or reduce its costs so much that you can now print single copies really, really cheaply. So if you can cut out warehousing and you can cut out a whole part of the retail distribution chain by printing on demand, then all of a sudden if you're printing a book for 30 Rand a copy for a novel, you can still make good margins. You can still get within the normal consumer price point and still make money for the publisher. You're moving the money you were spending on warehousing, shipping, and big print runs, and you're spending it instead on speed and flexibility. And this really taking a startup approach to experimenting with this in South Africa and seeing, can we make this work for our small publishing industry? If it does work, it's a major boost for small publishing in the country.
So, about that book of yours, time to publish it, pal. It might just be a massive hit in Pofadder. Now there's a novel idea.